Yeah, this is Modern Storage Unpacked. Let's go.
Welcome back to Modern Storage Unpacked, the podcast where we make space for what matters and help you navigate the world of self-storage. Whether you're a first-time renter, a business owner needing extra space, or just someone who loves a good behind-the-scenes insight on the industry, you're in the right place. I'm Hannah, your host, and today we're talking all about student life and storage. If you're a college student, you know that space can be one of the biggest challenges in storage, whether it's moving in, moving out, or just keeping your space organized throughout the semester. And today I've got a special guest with me, Olivia, who's here to share her experience being a college student. Olivia, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much, Hannah. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, we're happy to have you. Before we unpack some of the struggles that college students face, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. To get my undergraduate degree, I triple majored in political science, criminology, and sociology.
Wow, big baller.
You know, if I was going to do one, then it was two, and then I just decided to make it round with three. And I graduated with those 3 degrees in 2023, and now I'm currently a law student at University of Arkansas.
So you really know what it's like to be a college student.
Yes,
I've got the college
I've done
expert.
enough school for everybody. So been there for a while.
For the both of us, for sure. Okay, well, quick debate. Coffee or energy drinks?
I think that there's a place for both of them.
Okay.
If it's in the morning, I have to have a coffee. But if we're doing a late night study session or if I'm in the middle of the day and I'm crashing, it's going to be a sugar-free Red Bull every time.
That's what I was going to ask, like which one gets you through like some hard study sessions?
Sugar-free Red Bull or the coconut berry Red Bull. It's the one in the white can. I'm addicted to them.
Awesome.
Unfortunately, they are blue, so they will make your tongue blue, but they are delicious and worth it.
Well, if you could store your entire wardrobe in any celebrity's closet, who would it be? And yes, that does mean you get to like share their stuff too. Like you can wear their stuff.
I think I'd probably have to do Kylie Jenner.
Solid choice.
She has the most impressive bag and shoe collection that I have ever seen. And I feel like I've actually been told I look somewhat similar to her at the bars. So people have a little hazy going on anyway. So I think that's probably how it passed.
Yeah.
But I absolutely love her style. And I she might be able to find a thing or two in mine that she would like.
I like that. Definitely not like younger Kylie Jenner with like the blue hair phase.
No, not 2016
like, kind of,
Kylie.
honestly now, like
the
as a
clean
mom.
girl Kylie, the Timothy Chalamet Kylie.
The professional
Yes.
Kylie. Awesome. Okay, so Olivia, we know that college living spaces are tiny.
The worst.
They're really small, and even the small space you have, sometimes you're sharing that with another person or 2 or 3. What is your experience like? Are you in a dorm right now, or have you been in the past?
I've definitely been in a dorm. My freshman year, I lived in Reed Hall, all girls dorm.
Yes.
So much fun. However, it was a shoebox.
Mhm.
I absolutely loved it. My family and I joke that it's the happiest place on earth. They call it my Disney World. I absolutely adored being in the dorm. And then I moved into the sorority house, which it was a little bit larger of a room, but I did share it with an extra person. So there was 3 of us in a room, and we had one closet.
Oh my goodness.
One closet. And now I'm in a house.
Who had the closet? Did y'all fight over it? Did y'all share it?
We all had to share it. We added we ordered a standalone rack off of Amazon.
Okay.
To give us just a little bit of extra space, but it was either under your bed or it had to fit in that closet for 3. Yeah.
My heart goes out to you.
It was
during those
difficult.
times.
It was very difficult. We definitely had to do some feng shui rearranging to try to fit everything in there.
Goodness, I cannot imagine.
It was a fun time, though. I will say, I'm so glad that I did it. But no, the space in both the dorm and in the sorority house was just minuscule. There was nothing.
Did you see yourself like not have like being able to bring like all the clothes you wanted to? You know, like
I had
I'm
to
sure.
do so many trips home.
Yeah,
just changing the closet in and out for the seasons.
Yeah,
because there was just no way to have. And Arkansas weather, we love to change it up every single. Your morning can be 30 degrees, your afternoon can be 70, and then you're going down to 0 in the end of the night. So
yeah, it fluctuates so much.
It fluctuates so much, and so it was so difficult to have a closet that was really appropriate for whatever season we were in.
Yeah, no, I love that. Oh my gosh, yeah, I feel that too. So what is the biggest storage challenge you faced as a student? Do you think is it the clothes aspect of it, or was there anything else in particular?
I definitely think the clothes was the most difficult for me. However, I am a huge holiday buff. I love to decorate.
Yes.
And there was absolutely no way for me to keep all of my decor and my clothes in such a small space. It was too cluttered. It made me anxious literally walking into the space when I would be, oh my gosh, Easter's still in the corner. Like, why is Easter still there?
Did you even have any like tabletop space?
No, in the dorms especially, we had one counter, and that was it. And it was,
You all had to share one counter, one closet. Oh my
and
gosh.
we had the poor little contact paper over it, trying to make it as cute as possible. But no, we just had that one counter, and then we had a standing closet, and then just as every college has, whatever you have under your bed, you have to make use of.
Yeah.
But it's just impossible to keep everything.
How did you manage all of your stuff? Like, not just like clothes and little trinkets and holiday decor. How did you manage all of your stuff while living there with three and sharing that?
When I was a freshman and a sophomore, it was a lot of just trips back and forth from home to the dorm, back up to Fayetteville. And I kept an insane amount in the back of my car.
Okay.
It became a third closet.
You probably had more space there than your
really did.
countertop
I feel
and
like
your
I
closet
did.
space.
I had some of those milk crates that I would sit in the back of my car and just try to filter through things. Like, you get these leggings for the week, and then you can trade them out from your car.
Okay.
It was a sad experience, and then until I finally got a storage unit.
Life changer, I'm guessing.
Life changing.
We'll get into that. Yeah, awesome. That's crazy. So, what is the weirdest or funniest item you've ever had to store in your dorm? Like, did you have a random inflatable unicorn or a full collection full of stuffed animals? I know you probably didn't have a room for a lot, but like the one weird item you had to have in there.
I don't know if it was a weird item. However, I am going to tell you a funny story.
Okay.
So, in my dorm freshman year, there was one food item that was always present, and that was Captain Crunch, the peanut butter one, not the
berry
berries.
kind.
No, I'm not a berry girl, but it was the peanut butter, like the OG Captain Crunch. And one day I was in my dorm with one of my really good friends, and we were sitting on my bed having a conversation. And I was like, "Can you hand me the Captain Crunch box, the infamous Captain Crunch box?" She hands it to me. And I go to get some Captain Crunch, and I found the sunglasses that I had been looking for about 2 weeks. I don't know how they made it into the Captain Crunch box, but apparently that was another way that I stored things, was in my Captain Crunch box.
You got to get very creative there. That's awesome.
Hey, they didn't break.
Yeah. So there you go.
It did its job.
Listen, people sleep on Captain Crunch and I think honeycombs as well. Like those are my favorites back in the day.
I haven't had a honeycomb in so long.
Yeah.
But I just know that those would taste so nostalgic. Like right now.
Absolutely.
Apparently we're going to get cereal after this.
Yeah. Cereal day. Awesome. Have you had any friends share their struggles? So may not particularly be like your roommates, because I know that you live with them. You obviously know their struggles, but what did your like friends say about like their struggles with storage in their dorms?
It was the same way for all of my friends as it was for me. We did not have room for the clothes that we wanted to have there. And the same thing with, you would be stuck, and one day in Fayetteville, it would decide to drop 20 degrees. Where our sweaters, they're at home because we couldn't fit them into the closets. And so you'd just be walking around being like, does anybody have a coat? Like, I have to walk 10 minutes to class in the freezing weather, and I just need a coat. And it's awful.
Yeah.
And same thing, they were just having to go back and forth all the time to their parents, trying to find...
Probably not living close by either.
No,
like...
we're about a 3-hour drive. Most of my friends were from Little Rock, but my friends that are from Texas...
Further.
That was a much... Especially Houston. Oh my gosh, you're in the car for, 9 hours?
Yeah.
Something like that. It made me really thankful to only have the 3-hour drive to go find my sweaters. But
yeah, sounds like we built a modern storage at the right location.
Yes, 100%. It's they put you in such small spaces.
They do.
You have no choice but to find an alternative. And if you don't have family that lives by, you're either spending a lot of money on gas or you're gonna have to get a unit, because there's no way.
Yeah, absolutely. If you had a closet for only the items that you actually wear versus the items that you don't, like, be honest, how many items would be in that closet? Because I know me and like my wardrobe, like I don't wear probably 3/4 of it, but like how much of it do you actually wear?
That's a great question. It's also probably going to be a bit of an embarrassing answer for me.
Okay.
My style, I feel like I live 3 different lives. You have your athletic Olivia life, you have your lawyer Olivia life, and then you have your hit the town Olivia, and all of those have different closets.
Oh.
And so even with those 3 personalities that I carry, I have an enormous amount of clothing that I have in my closet that should go away, but I just cannot seem to part with it. Because the college sorority girl Olivia still has some clothes that she wants to hold on to. And so, but truly, I did a clean out not that long ago. And I was like, the only thing that can stay in my immediate closet right now are the things that I will wear every week.
Yeah.
And
That's
so
a good rule of
I
thumb.
had to do it. And then I'm like, okay, well, if I have to go get something from a storage unit and then bring it back, that's fine. It can stay. But until I need it, it's staying there.
That is such a good rule of thumb because I cleaned my closet out not too long ago, and I went more lenient with myself. I said if I haven't worn it in the past 3 years, it's got to go. And that's like
a great place to start, though.
Yeah.
You've got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
So
now I'll go back to 2 years, 1 year. Now you're going like, if it's not every week,
Yeah,
I'm like, man.
I have just collected so many random things that, you go shopping on a Tuesday. Your friends are like, hey, let's go shop. Cool. I go, oh my gosh, that shirt is so cute.
Mm-hmm.
And then that shirt that you bought 3 years ago still has a tag on it because you had an impulse buy on a weekend. And so I have to start being way more strict on myself, or the closet will be a hoarder's den or clothes to die. Yeah.
There we go. All right. Get more strict on yourself then. So, have you ever used a storage unit?
I have, and I do currently have a storage unit.
Awesome. How has this helped with the chaos of your living space?
So I am somebody where if something doesn't have a space, it's irritating me.
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody's got, their clutter just on the counter, it will literally bother the absolute crap out of me. And so I just forgot the question, actually. You want to ask me that one more time?
Yeah, you're good. Okay. So how has this helped you with the chaos in your living space?
Yeah, it's truly cleaned up my space, my life so much. I'm somebody that if there's clutter around me, it makes me anxious, and I will just think about it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so being able for all of my things, especially like I said, my holiday decor, to have a space, it just makes me so happy.
Yeah, awesome. I love it. What kind of things do you store in your storage unit? Is it like seasonable items, like textbooks, or what kind of stuff do you store in there?
There's definitely a collection of old books. At the end of law school, we have to take the bar. I have to pass it. And so all of the textbooks I decided to keep. I'll sell them back.
I was going to say, they're not cheap.
No. I do rent all of my textbooks.
Yeah.
And then I have some ones. But I'll keep, and then I have some where the professor prints the textbook out for us. So it's not something you send back.
Yeah.
But I keep all of that, as well as any kind of note cards that I've made or any notebooks that I've written in, just so I can go back and be like, what did you study at that point? I keep all of the school things just so I can use them for future purposes.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, all of my holiday decor is in there. Which, I mean, who has room for their Christmas tree just hanging around the house?
Yeah.
I don't.
So you did you have a dorm Christmas tree in there?
I had a dorm Christmas tree that was maybe this big.
Okay.
And I printed out photos of all of my friends that lived on the same floor as me.
Yeah.
And I made their faces into, I took a picture with a Santa hat and made their faces into ornaments on the tree.
How cute.
It was very fun.
Making most of your space. I like it. Yeah.
You have to, because there's my little tiny shoebox in Reed was not going to house a Christmas tree. I could touch from my bed. If I leaned really, really far, I feel like I could touch my roommate's bed. It was a very small space.
Okay.
So I have all of that. And then, of course, out of season clothes.
Yeah.
Which, again, is so convenient because sometimes you wake up and you're like, oh my gosh, I can wear that really cute top that I put up and just go get it instead of driving
3 hours. Yeah, very convenient. I love it. So I have to ask you, what is your guilty pleasure item that you just cannot stop buying even though your space is overflowing with stuff?
100% sweatshirts. I have an ungodly amount of sweatshirts. I refuse to get rid of my sorority and fraternity sweatshirts. Those will stay near and dear to my heart for forever. But then I have such an addiction to athleisure. And like right now it's daily drills, which I don't need to be spending money on daily drills, but I'm obsessed with it. And I keep buying these sweat sets.
Yeah.
And it just keeps more
Piling
and
up.
more and more. And it started off as a section. And now it is an entire rack in my closet.
I feel like it's not bad. I mean, sweats are also very versatile. Like
You can dress them
wear
up.
those daily.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
I love
movies.
them,
I'm wearing
yes.
sweats. I'm not wearing jeans.
Exactly.
You know?
And I keep telling myself, I'll make a blanket quilt with them one day. Will that day come? I don't know. But that's how I justify it to myself.
Okay,
Is I'll make
yeah.
a blanket quilt out of it someday.
Make the use out of your items and your space, it sounds like.
Exactly.
So, well, what made you specifically decide to rent a storage unit instead of just dealing with all the clutter in your dorm?
Like I said, I just am not somebody that can just have clutter around me. or what is just clutter in the room is gonna become clutter in the classroom. I cannot have it all around. And with such limited space, there's no way to have anything fun like a Christmas tree or a wreath up on your door. You can't change anything out. And so for me to be able to live a comfortable, organized life, I had to get the storage unit.
Yeah, well, it sounds like it's impacted you very greatly then, having a storage unit. But can you talk about having that extra space? Is there other ways that it has impacted you in your daily life? Is it easier for you to like focus on schoolwork and kind of put your, focus in the studies? How's it helped you?
I definitely think it's easier to focus on schoolwork in the way that I'm not spending 3 hours in the car there, 3 hours in the car back, 6 hours that I could have been spending sitting and reading for class or studying. And in the same way, I'm not just like constantly thinking about why everything's in the way. Because if I am sitting and I'm trying to read a case and I can just see, Frosty peeking out the corner, all I'm thinking about is Frosty. I have no idea what's going on in Pearson v. Post.
You're right.
I just have Frosty staring at me like, put me away.
Mm-hmm. So less distractions.
Less distractions for sure. And then also, I'm somebody, I have to change out the wardrobe every now and then. I do treat school like a fashion show. It's a fun way to keep myself going to class. It's like, I wonder what people are going to guess I'm wearing today. Yeah. But it makes it so much more fun for me to go to class because I can change my wardrobe out all the time with having that extra space.
Yeah, I love it. So Olivia is, overachiever. She's got all these masters and she's top dressed in her class. So
that's what I'm hoping for at the end of all of this. I just would love if somebody would appreciate it to the point of giving me a plaque that says
you just need that official award. We'll have to call your professors and have
you know what? I'm going to make it happen.
In. Yeah.
Mark my words.
Okay. Okay, so moving in and out of dorms, I'm sure it can be very stressful. How has having a storage unit helped in those specific times?
I'm telling you, moving in and out of the dorms are some of the absolute worst days ever because one, your back is going to hurt so bad from carrying things up and down, and then you're going to get in a fight with your parents. Whoever is moving you in or out, somebody is getting in a fight. You're yelling pivot down the stairs while you have whatever in your hands. And so at the end of every school year, it was so frustrating to have to move everything that I felt like, because, time goes by like that. It was so frustrating to have to move all of that stuff back home to Little Rock just for in 12 weeks, bring it right back up.
Yeah.
And so that was so frustrating. Whereas now, instead of me bringing all of my winter stuff home, I can just keep it in the storage unit and not have to take absolutely everything when I go home for the summers.
Yeah.
Huge advantage.
Awesome. So you're just kind of bringing home the stuff that you need for that summer. And keeping everything else in there. Yeah.
And I know this summer I will most likely be in Little Rock for a little bit interning. And I will be bringing what I need for those 6 weeks that I will be here. And I will be leaving everything else at the storage unit. Yeah. And you know how leases are. Most college places are not going to lease through the summer if you want a school year lease, because otherwise you're just kind of wasting money. And so instead of either paying your rent that way or driving things back and forth, just put it in the storage unit. It's such a huge advantage to have.
Yeah, totally makes sense. So what is one piece of advice that you would give to someone who's considering renting a storage unit, either for like the move in, move out process, or just like throughout the semester?
I would say to 100% just do it. But no, you're going to save yourself so much time and effort bringing things to and fro every time that you come back to college. It's such an annoying process. And just to have that right there to be able to use, you're going to be spending money either on gas going back and forth for all your things, or if you're still paying for your lease throughout the summer because you don't know where to put your couch or your favorite beanbag chair. Yeah. You might as well just get the storage unit. It is literally so helpful, and it just makes your life so much easier.
Sounds like it pays for itself, so I don't know what y'all are waiting for.
It definitely it clears up so many things in my life. It just makes everything so much more organized. I absolutely adore it.
So security really is a big concern, I'm sure, when you're storing valuable items like your 3 truckloads of Lulu and stuff like that. How do you feel knowing your items are secure in a storage unit versus like in a dorm room?
I will say I always kept my dorm under lock and key.
Okay.
But I feel like if you're not storing somewhere that's got a gate and that's a safe place to be, you might as well just have a bin outside your home.
Yeah.
Or outside of your dorm in the hallway. It just says like free for you. But no, I would never choose somewhere that I didn't feel like my items were going to be safe. Because like I said, I'm sentimental. I have, like I said, the Christmas tree, the ornaments, everything like that. I've kept up with those for so long now. It would be devastating to lose.
So not just like valuable monetary, it's like a lot of sentimental things
stuff
in there
like that.
too.
Because, monetary things, these boots, they can be replaced.
Yeah.
But an ornament that I painted when I was 5 can't.
You take that with you to college?
Oh, absolutely. Like, when I say I'm the most sentimental person that you will ever meet, I have my old, like...
I'd lose that.
No, I love stuff like that. I even have this, like, cute little box that's my, like, special ornaments.
Yeah.
And I've started my own little collection now that I've gotten a little bit older, where I'm like, I love Anthropologie's ornaments.
Yes.
So they're starting to become sentimental
Yeah.
to me, too. Not just the ones that I made, back when I was 5, or even,
My mom wouldn't even give that stuff to me.
Oh.
She still uses, she has 7 Christmas trees at her house, and 1 tree is the memory tree. And
That's such a great idea.
It's like all of our stuff on there. So even if I wanted it, she's like, no, you're going to lose it.
There's like special ones that my mom knows that I'm obsessed with, and I'm like, nah, I need the snow globe that I made that looks like a googly eye. I need that one. But then I've also been gifted, I did pageants when I was younger.
Okay.
And every time that I won a pageant, a sweet lady would hand paint me an ornament. And so all of those I got to keep. And even though
So you won a lot of pageants too. Okay.
competed in them for sure.
Okay.
But even my Christmas tree now has like little crowns all over it. I also was a Zeta in college, which their sign is the crown. And so the crown has always followed me. And so all of that thing, it's so sentimental, and I would be
Full circle.
Yeah. It would just be absolutely devastating if any of those things were to go missing.
Yeah, absolutely. So security is very important.
Security is key.
So has knowing that your stuff is under surveillance and safe, has that given you any peace of mind?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like I said, I would have never chosen to store somewhere that didn't have the security cameras, that didn't have the gate. And when I was calling and inquiring about, hey, what does the security look like there?
Yeah.
Hearing about how many cameras that they have on property. I mean, I'm never worried that anything's going to happen to all of my sentimental things.
Yeah, love it. What would you say the biggest benefit of using a secure storage unit is, especially for like long-term storage?
I mean, like I said, the sentimental things, I'm sure as I get older, there's going to be, hopefully I have a wedding dress one day.
Yeah.
And just to store somewhere that doesn't have that kind of security, I don't want to be sitting there with the things that I've already removed from my home to make myself feel more organized. I would never want to be sitting there worried about, are those things safe? Because then that's just another thing to add to your plate that you just don't need to be thinking about.
Right.
And so I never want to be sitting and scared that those items that mean so much to me are going to go away. And so it's just peace of mind in general.
Right.
That comes with all of the security.
I've never lived in a dorm, but I would be so worried, like, if I didn't know my roommate.
Oh,
and
well, yes.
because I've, growing up, had friends, that have slowly taken things, out of my closets and stuff. Like, it'd be the randomest stuff too, man. Like, me and my sister, we lived together actually in Fayetteville, and we were actually blaming each other. She was coming in my room like, you took this, and I was going in her room, like, and it was the randomest stuff. And it turns out it was her friend that was over at her house, just like completely robbing us. Like, but it was little stuff at a time. It was crazy. Like my deodorant, like the randomest stuff, and then down to like clothes, like cat toys, like the weirdest stuff would go missing. And the only reason why that we caught her doing this was one day I was coming home and we had one of those like townhouses that had like a garage in it, and I had like a keypad, so I'd use that a lot coming in instead of just like unlocking my front door. And so I did my keypad thing and went in the garage, and so my garage went up. Obviously, you could hear it from inside. I didn't know she was in the house at this point. She thought no one was home. She was in our house, like, taking stuff. And as I'm coming in through the garage, I didn't know it was her at the time, but I just see someone running out my back door. And I'm, like, kind of stood there in shock for a second. And I was like, and she was just carrying a lot of stuff with her.
So she didn't just, like, stick some stuff in her sleepover bag.
No,
like,
she was like
robbed.
loaded up. And then, like, so it took me a couple seconds. I'm like, you know what? I probably should chase her. And so
Hannah is also a police officer.
Run. I'm like chasing her, and there's just like a whole trail of just random stuff. But the thing is, when you go out, like, you could either go right or left. And I just guessed I went right, but she went left, and I saw her just, driving away. And that's when I realized who it was. And I'm like, messaged her like, hey, I'm calling the cops if you don't come back. And
That's insane.
she ended up coming back and bringing me all my stuff. But just seeing all this stuff, I called my sister. I'm like, Ashley, it wasn't you stealing all my stuff. It wasn't me stealing like yours. Like, anyways, that was so off topic. But that happened.
No, and same thing in the dorms. Like, especially, I lived in an all-girls dorm.
Yeah.
And the laundry room was literally a war room because everybody has the same things.
Oh, yeah.
We're all on the same trend. We all have the same leggings. We all have the same sweatshirts. Everybody's wearing the same jeans. And so you go in there, if you do not get absolutely everything out of your washer and dryer and stay with it, it is gone. In the same way, I kept my room under lock and key just because I was not taking any chances. Nobody is going to come in and grab my purses or my shoes or my jeans or whatever and just take it with them. I literally had so many friends that would leave their doors unlocked and people would just go in and act like it was a free
for all. Yeah. It's crazy. Okay. Well, glad you had a storage unit.
Right?
When you think about your items being under constant surveillance, does that make you feel more comfortable when you're away from campus? So I know you're 3 hours away. So when you come home, how do you feel knowing, like, you know, I know you said you always keep your stuff under lock and key, but just having that peace of mind, having a storage unit that's constantly being monitored, how does that make you feel?
Oh, it's phenomenal. You know, even if I had it in my house, houses are a little bit less safe than, let's say, somewhere. And yeah, I have cameras at my house.
Yeah.
I don't have 100 cameras at my house.
Yeah.
I don't have a gate at my house. And so I truly never worry about it. And that's just such a great thing to have, to not sit there and be like, oh my gosh, that ornament that I made when I was 5. What happens?
Yeah.
I'm 3 hours away. If something happens, what am I going to do? But I've never had that situation. But I mean, that just goes into choosing a good storage place.
Yeah.
Do it in the front hand. Don't cheap out on the cost for it because I can tell you that there are some things that are irreplaceable. That extra $7
a month will give you.
Yes.
Right. So make sure you're asking them those questions. How
100%
many cameras you got?
ask your questions.
So if you had to pick between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni to hold on to some stuff for you, who would you trust?
I think that that's a tricky question because, like I said, I am not somebody who's going to pick sides because I don't know absolutely everything from a first-hand account. However, I know that both of them have kept a hold of many, many documents, and I'll let the listeners decide who that might be. But anybody who can keep up with that many text messages can probably keep up with my ornament that I made when I was 5.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I would trust, probably both of them with to hold on to anything. So if y'all, Justin and Blake, if you need a place to store all the stuff you're holding against each other, give us a call. We have
I know it would be safe there. So, and you know where they would never find it? In Arkansas.
There you go. You're right. Awesome. So if you could give one piece of advice to students who are struggling with storage space, what would your advice be?
If it's possible for you to get a storage unit, just get it. It doesn't have to be, a 20 by 20. I mean, there's lockers, there's 5 by 10s that are just great for just some of the things that you've got that you just don't need in your dorm. Yeah. I know that you don't need 53 frat t-shirts. I know it. I know that the random traffic cone that you stole that you thought you would have till the day you die, I know that you don't need it anymore. But it may hold that sentimental value. Just get the storage unit. Put the things that you don't need, like I said, to touch every single week. Just put it in a unit. Get it out of the way. I promise that when you take Missy Jones or Blakely home from the bar, they're going to say, oh, look how clean it is. And when y'all get married, you can thank your storage unit for it.
They're not coming home like traffic cones and stuff.
Exactly, because if there's a red flag, it's probably the giant neon traffic cone staring you right in the face.
So you're not saying we all haven't done that?
I will say I have not, but I
mine wasn't a traffic cone; it was a street sign. But to
be
fair,
sign,
it was already on the ground. It was like perfect. So it was already on the ground, and I actually got caught with it. Like, this is so funny.
Oh, no.
I wasn't in college; I was in high school though. But yeah, it was like one it was still connected. It was like 2 street signs, just like this. And it was still connected, but it was on the ground, and it was so hard. I was driving a Mustang, like that coupe car, so hard to fit it in my car, and I finally did, and I took it back to my apartment, and me and my boyfriend were carrying it up the stairs, and a cop just happened to drive by, like, as I was, like, carrying it up, and obviously, came over and was like, what are y'all, he thought that we took it down. I'm like, dude, I have no strength or tools to, be able to do that, and ended up just going away. That was so off topic. We don't have to use that.
I would have said that it was an art installation piece that you'd been working on.
Yeah, I
Try
was gonna hang it up in my room. So.
Oh, there's so many. I've seen so many street signs. I've seen the traffic cones. I've also seen, like the caution slip, warning wet floors.
Yeah.
Seen so many of those. And then my personal favorite are the Whataburger table note. The table
Numbers?
Yes, the table numbers.
People steal those?
Oh my gosh! Like you wouldn't believe. So many people. I would walk into the room and I'm like, why is Whataburger number 14 on your shelf?
Yeah.
Do we need Whataburger number 14? Go take Whataburger 14 back.
Okay, so college aesthetic. Not everybody has
And
it.
let me tell you, I've never wanted the college aesthetic. Like I do not want 15 bottles of Burnett's lining my dorm room either.
Oh, I feel
Not
like
gonna
we
be
all
my style.
have been there though, like above the cabinets,
I'm all in for a tasteful painted bottle.
Yeah.
Or a tasteful important bottle.
So you've never had that phase where you just like had
No.
all of your empty bottles just above your kitchen or something?
No.
Yeah.
I prefer to keep
like what does that show? Like, yay, I drank a lot.
I prefer to keep that on the DL, and it's like you don't know what my favorite drink is, so you have to
were smart,
to go to dinner
pretty
with
young.
me to find that
Yeah,
out.
she knew she wanted to be a lawyer. She's like, this isn't gonna look good at me if it's on Facebook from 20 years ago.
Because let me tell you, once it's out there, it's out there forever. And
so
I definitely was cautious about it for sure, because I definitely knew I was going to go into the legal career.
Yeah. Okay. I like it. How do you manage to keep things organized during the school year when you're juggling classes and other responsibilities? Do you have any tips for our listeners on just how staying on top of it all?
Listen, every week is a new one. There's new trials, there's new tribulations, there's new ways that I have to find to monitor and adjust. I think that keeping a calendar, however that looks like for you, is so helpful. I know I have a day planner that's literally the size of a book that I keep on me at all times. And whether it's scheduling in 20 minutes of TikTok that will help me get through the next 3 hours of case books, it's so helpful for me to be able to just look and see, okay, we can check that off. Okay, yes, you have 2 more hours of torts, but you can have 20 minutes of TikTok in between. And so
reward yourself.
having those that schedule where you can actually look and see, because I know people are very comfortable with using their iPhone calendars or reminders on their phones.
Some people like a digital or like a laptop outlet calendar. I'm more of a paper girl as well. Like I go and buy like yearly planners at the store as well. And I just like writing it all down, like when are all my bills due and stuff like that. Like all that.
It's fun for me to like color code things.
I do the same thing. I highlight it for different meanings.
Highlight when it's done. I think that it's so important to have it. If it's on your phone, that's fine. If that's your style. For me, like I said, it's got to be on paper. But also just making sure that you make that time to relax and to do things that you like, because you can't be a productive student unless you have a creative outlet or some kind of a outlet to have something to do that is not school related at all.
Yeah.
We all love what we're studying. We wouldn't be working this hard if we didn't.
Right.
But that 20 minutes of TikTok can really make the difference between you burning out and you doing just fine.
And I'm sure having like a clear space and not cluttered space kind of helps you focus. Because I know when I go home and my house is a mess, like that bleeds out into other parts of my life until I get that cleaned up. Yeah.
No, if your space is also not organized or clean in the way that you need it to be, you've got to figure that out, whether that's moving things out and getting a storage unit or just finding ways, make an alternative.
Yeah.
I don't know where you're going to find the extra
Use
space.
your trunk with some milk crates.
Yeah, with your milk crates. That's a little Bojank way to do it, but or MacGyver, I would say. But storage units are great for that, I also am the same way. Like if my space is not clean and organized, that's the only thing I'm thinking about. And then whatever I'm doing is just, it's not going to matter because that's all I'm going to have in the back of my brain.
Yeah, absolutely. So what would you just say to someone who's hesitant about the cost of a storage unit? Like how do you think that the benefits of it outweighs the cost? I know we kind of dove into it a little bit more, but
I know that, I don't know everybody's financial situations, and I know that sometimes it's not feasible for everybody.
Yeah.
However, I know that if you're on a lease that you're going to have to keep paying for your furniture or that favorite beanbag chair that you have, that's going to be more expensive than a storage unit. If you're like me and you have your parents' home that you return to store lots of your things, there's a lot of gas money that goes into going back and forth to do that. And again, money, you're going to spend it anyways. You might as well have it a lot more accessible to you at any time. And so I think that if you can do it, you should do it, just because for most part, it's going to pay for itself. And also the peace of mind. all of your things are going to be safe. They're not going to be cluttering your house. And it's just worth it for me, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. If you want to go on a girls trip for the weekend,
Pull out that cute bikini that you've been waiting for.
Mhm.
I can guarantee you it's not in my closet right now because it was negative 5 degrees in Fayetteville today. But I will be in Napa Valley next weekend with a hot tub.
Well, it's supposed to be in the 70s next week too. No joke.
I'm telling you, Arkansas weather.
And then
is
the week
bipolar.
after could have another winter storm. So yeah, you kind of need to have everything on hand.
You do. I'm telling you, it
by.
is literally like this all the time. You're just riding the Fayetteville and Arkansas weather wave. But no, exactly. Like if I want to get that bikini, I don't want to have to drive 3 hours to go get it because that would just be tragic. But I've just got it 10 minutes up the road.
There we go. I love it. Got it all figured out. What storage company would you recommend your friends to use?
Modern Storage every single day.
Okay.
I absolutely love it. You can also see it in this gorgeous sign right here.
So you have one close by you. That's where you
yeah.
recommend.
So the one that I use is the one in Springdale.
Okay.
It's awesome. There's also a lot of really good food around there. So every time that I make a trip to the storage unit, I'm going to have to visit the restaurants right there, which is just another perk.
Yeah. I've heard Springdale's grown a lot too. And it's kind of like, is it before you get to Bentonville?
Oh, way before, yeah.
Okay.
I live not in the center of Fayetteville. I'm a little bit further out around Weddington area.
Yeah.
And so it's literally about 10 minutes from the Weddington area.
Oh, sweet.
They just
I heard it's like right off the interstate too.
It's right off. You can see it. And they have so many good restaurants around it. And so I'll always go and get food. And then sometimes I'll like drive down to Elm Springs and do a swig trip too.
Awesome. Love it. Love it. So for a final and fun question, would you rather have a fully organized dorm, but to live without Wi-Fi, or a messy room with unlimited internet access? So what is more important, clutter-free or access to internet? And that also means like cell phone data too, like you don't have your phone at all or laptop or anything.
That's really difficult, for sure. I grew up in the technology age, so that I've got the huge piece of my heart's there. Like I said, I literally cannot do clutter. It literally will drive me absolutely nuts.
So you go without Wi-Fi?
I genuinely think I would go without it because one thing about me is I'm a huge reader, and I read for fun a lot. Right now, I'm in the middle of the Throne of Glass series. I'm actually on the last book.
Okay.
I can read, or I can get out of the room and I can go talk to people, which is another thing that I absolutely love to do. Yeah. I will talk to a brick wall any day of the week. And so I think I would absolutely have to go with the organized dorm because everything else in my life would just collapse without the space being clean.
I love it. And, sometimes it's good to just also get back in touch with nature and kind of like put the phone away for a second.
For sure.
And, just not deal with all the outside noise and kind of it might help you study more.
100%.
Might help you pass that test,
Would I miss TikTok?
Yes.
And would I miss Instagram?
Probably.
1,000,000%.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like I could do it.
I went through withdrawals, man. How did the TikTok shutdown go for you? I just have to ask.
So bad about it. I was like, just out of pure muscle memory, going into my phone and opening the app.
Yes.
I wasn't even like in my brain being like, I'm going to watch TikTok. It was truly like,
I spent the
muscle
whole
memory.
Because they said it was supposed to go down midnight or something, and then someone said no, it's gonna be 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
And so I'm mass downloading all my videos before I lose them, and there's so many of my son when he was little, and I mean he is still little, but when he was little, and just sentimental ones I didn't want to lose.
I didn't even
and
think
it was
about
lagging
it.
so much. You could tell everybody was on there doing that as well, and then I was just super sad, and then. When it came back, I remember that next night, I stayed up until 4 a.m. just appreciating the fact that I can watch my TikTok videos again. So
it is a true addiction. I think my mom went through it worse than I did. She
really?
1 million. My mother is on TikTok more than many people that I know.
I love it.
Now she does what she has to do, and then she has her TikTok time. But no, she literally was like, I'm going through withdrawals from it. And then she had to get a new phone. And there was a time where TikTok, you couldn't re-download it.
It was off the App Store.
It was off the App Store. And so she literally was having full-on withdrawal to the point where
I think people were selling their iPhones that had it still on there for $10,000.
No, 100%
that is
they were
totally
trying to
taking
make
advantage.
out of people's pain. But no, she literally was tweaking for my dad's phone.
How much do you think she would have paid to buy a phone with it installed on it?
I don't even want to know, but I know that it would have been considerable. I know it would have been considerable.
Okay, but she didn't do that. She ended up.
No, she finally, they finally now have it where you can download it. So I think she only had to go 3 days, but for the amount that she talked to me about it, like
Yeah.
I know the withdrawals were wild.
Oh my goodness. Well, hey, that's crazy. I don't know what to say about that. Well, thank you, Olivia, for joining us.
course, thank
And
you so much
hopefully
for
you have
having
a
me.
safe 3 hours back home. Hopefully you don't have to, stop and grab anything at your house on your way back up. Everything's in your storage unit, all good to go. And thank you guys for tuning into Modern Storage Unpacked. Make sure you subscribe to check out our next episode on more tips to organizing your space.
That's a wrap for this episode of Modern Storage Unpacked. Thanks for listening. Be sure to subscribe and check out modernstorage.com for more ways to stay ahead in the storage industry. See you next time.